Turn right after the...
I'm in survival mode.
You just passed it.
Get up, kid. Okay. Up.
I'm looking at
Stay. I need you on the bridge!
That's it.
I'm trying to clear a path!
2 minutes out.
Hey guys, today we're diving headfirst into the adrenaline-fueled, bone-crunching, and surprisingly poignant world of Extraction from 2020. Get ready, because this movie doesn't just start with a bang. It starts with a series of concussive blasts that never really let up. We're talking about a former SAS operator, Tyler Rake, played by Chris Hemsworth, who's basically a walking, breathing, highly lethal action figure. This is a passion project for me, and a like or subscribe is the best way to show your support. So if you're on board, join the crew. If not, thanks for watching anyway. Now, let's get into it. Our story truly kicks off in Dhaka, Bangladesh, where a young man named Ovi Mahajan Jr. is trying to have a fun night out at a club. Unfortunately, his dad isn't just any dad. He's Ovi Mahajan Sr., a powerful and imprisoned Indian drug lord. Being the son of a big shot in a place teeming with rivalries pretty much puts a giant target on your back, doesn't it? Young Ovi gets cornered in the club's bathroom, pulled out by some apparently corrupt local law enforcement, and then swiftly snatched by the goons of Amir Asif, a ruthless Bangladeshi crime boss who's clearly not a fan of Ovi Sr. The whole sequence is a jarring contrast to the club's thumping music, ending with the muffled sounds of a struggle and a chilling sense of dread. The air practically thickens with the tension of a city where danger lurks in every shadow. You can almost feel the humid air and the grime of the city clinging to the screen. Our protagonist, Rake, is clearly in for a fun time. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, or rather, at a heavily guarded compound, we meet Sayu, Ovi Sr. as chief enforcer and protector. He's pretty much family to Ovi Jr., and you can see the sheer panic in his eyes as he tries to convince Ovi Sr. to pay the ransom. But Ovi Sr. is a hard man, probably because he deals in, well, hard substances. He flat out refuses to pay, stating it would be a sign of weakness. Classic criminal overlord logic, right? This leaves Sayu in an impossible position. He's got to get the boy back, but he's also got to stay loyal to his boss. So what's a loyal henchman to do? He decides to take matters into his own hands, hiring a mercenary team to extract Ovi Jr. on the sly. The metallic click of the phone disconnecting practically echoes the weight of the impossible choice Sayu has just made. It's a lose-lose situation, and you can practically hear the gears grinding in his head as he tries to concoct a plan that doesn't end with him being extracted, permanently cut to a serene, almost to peaceful, location somewhere off the grid. We find Tyler Rake, our brooding hero, seemingly contemplating the mysteries of the universe while sitting by a cliff. Or maybe he's just really good at staring blankly. His partner, the no-nonsense Nick Khan, quickly brings him back to reality with a job offer. It's the kind of job that screams suicide mission louder than a bad karaoke night. Ovi Jr. needs extracting from Dhaka, a city described as the most dangerous city in the world, which is basically an open invitation for Rake. He takes the job without blinking. No questions asked about the pay. No, are you sure this is a good idea? Just a silent nod, the clack of his gear, and a steely resolve that makes you think he's either incredibly brave or just really bored. The distant call of a hawk underlines the solitary nature of Rake's life, a calm before the storm of bullets and explosions that he's about to plunge headfirst into. You can almost hear the faint whir of the helicopter blades as they prepare to take him into the thick of it. Away from the quiet solitude, Rake and his team, a collection of equally hardened professionals, make their dramatic entrance into Dhaka, and by dramatic, I mean they're not exactly checking in through the front gate. We get a fantastic sequence of Rake leaping across rooftops, scaling walls, and generally making gravity his personal playground. The crunch of his boots on the corrugated metal rooftops, the whoosh of air as he makes impossible jumps, it's all there. He's like a highly trained, slightly grumpy ninja. The entire city seems to be against him, with the sounds of distant traffic and constant chatter creating a sense of overwhelming noise. Yet Rake moves with silent precision. A predator in a concrete jungle. The camera follows him like a shadow, making you feel every grunt of effort, every controlled thud as he lands. It's clear from the get-go that Rake isn't just strong, he's practically indestructible, or at least he plays one on TV. This is the kind of guy who probably uses barbed wire for dental floss. Once inside the compound, it's less stealth mission and more action movie bullet ballet. Rake slices through Amir Azov's men like a hot knife through. Well, you get the picture. The sound design here is brilliant, with the deafening cracks of gunfire punctuated by the wet thuds of close-quarters combat. You can almost feel the impact of every punch, the metallic clang of a rifle, but connecting with a skull. He finds Ovi, who's understandably terrified and probably a little confused as to why this giant, scowling man just blew through a wall. Rake, ever the charming conversationalist, just grabs him and gets moving. They navigate a labyrinth of corridors and stairwells, with more goons popping up than whack-a-moles at a carnival. The frantic shouts of Azov's men, the constant barrage of bullets pinging off walls, it all creates a sense of overwhelming chaos. Rake, however, remains a calm, brutal force, shield diving with Ovi in tow, always putting the boys' safety first, even if it means putting himself squarely in the path of flying lead. It's a masterclass in controlled mayhem. Rake attempts to make a clean getaway, driving Ovi towards what he thinks is a safe extraction point on a bridge. But plot twist, it's not safe. Not even a little bit. Suddenly, they're surrounded, and who's leading the charge? None other than Sayu, Ovi Sr.'s man. Turns out, Sayu's plan was always to retrieve Ovi himself and leave Rake high and dry, ensuring his boss wouldn't have to pay a dime. The screech of tires and the sudden blare of horns as the ambush unfolds are enough to make you jump. Rake, realizing he's been played, doesn't even have time to utter a sarcastic "at two, brute," before the bullets start flying. This isn't just a shootout. It's a brutal, chaotic free-for-all, with the metallic rat-a-tat-tat of automatic weapons echoing off the bridge's concrete structures. The air fills with the smell of burning rubber and gunpowder. It's clear that Rake's day just went from really bad to catastrophically worse with a side of betrayal. Poor guy just can't catch a break. Can he? Now, Rake isn't just dealing with Sayu's guys. Amir Azov's goons are also hot on his tail, creating a lovely three-way dance of destruction. It's like a deadly game of tag. You're dead through the impossibly crowded, narrow streets of Dhaka. Rake, proving that he's not just good with a gun, but also behind the wheel, executes some truly insane driving. He's reversing at full speed, swinging the car around corners, and even doing a little bit of target practice out the window, all while trying to protect Ovi, who's probably wishing he'd just stayed home playing video games. The constant blare of horns, the screech of tires, and the dull thud of vehicles colliding paint a vivid auditory picture of sheer urban chaos. Dust and debris fly, glass shatters with alarming frequency, and the raw kinetic energy of the chase is palpable. It's a visceral, heart-pounding sequence where you can practically feel the G-forces as Rake whips the car around. His face, etched with grim determination, shows he's not giving up. Not now. Not ever. The car eventually becomes more of a liability than an asset. So Rake, with Ovi in tow, bails out and dives into the absolute pandemonium of a crowded market. If you thought the streets were bad, try running through a market where every stall is a potential hiding spot and every civilian is a potential obstacle. It's a kaleidoscope of colors, sounds, and smells, but Rake only sees threats and escape routes. He's pushing, pulling, and occasionally elbowing his way through, all while keeping an eye out for assassins. The clamor of vendors shouting, the clatter of dropped goods, and the alarmed cries of passers-by create a symphony of frantic noise. You can almost smell the spices and sweat in the air. Rake's movements are sharp and decisive, his senses on high alert, his grip on Ovi's hand firm. He's a bulldozer with a human shield, expertly weaving through the labyrinthine aisles, every turn a calculated risk. It's a fantastic display of Rake's ability to adapt and improvise under the most intense pressure, after what feels like an eternity of being shot at, punched, and generally having a very bad day. Rake manages to find a temporary hideout in a rundown apartment building. It's quiet, dimly lit, and probably smells faintly of despair and old cooking oil. Here, amidst the relative calm, Ovi tries to connect with Rake, who's about as emotionally open as a brick wall. Ovi, still processing the trauma, asks Rake about his own life, his family. The air hangs heavy with unspoken words. Rake, for a fleeting moment, almost gives us a glimpse behind the hardened exterior, the briefest flicker of a haunted past in his eyes. The quiet hum of the city outside, a stark contrast to the earlier cacophony, underscores the fragile peace. It's a pause that feels both desperately needed and utterly precarious, like the calm before another inevitable storm. You can almost hear Rake's inner monologue, a battle between his protective instincts and the deeply buried pain he carries. Flipped and generally treated like disposable toys. The air outside is thick with exhaust fumes and the acrid smell of burning rubber. This sequence isn't just a car chase. It's a masterclass in vehicular combat choreography. The camera rarely cuts, making you feel every bump, every evasive swerve, and every near miss with an almost nauseating intimacy. It's a truly spectacular feat of filmmaking, showing off Rake's unparalleled skills under pressure. You can almost feel the vibration of the engine through the screen, and the tension is so thick you could cut it with a very dull butter knife. The car eventually meets its unfortunate end, forcing Rake and Ovi to ditch it and go on foot, plunging straight into a densely packed apartment complex. The owner continues, dragging us through cramped stairwells and shadowy corridors. The sense of claustrophobia is intense as the camera weaves through the tight spaces, capturing every bone-jarring punch and every muffled grunt. The sounds of combat shift from roaring engines to the sickening thud of bodies hitting walls, the rapid clicks of Rake's pistol reloading, and the ragged breathing of both Rake and his relentless pursuers. It's a symphony of close-quarters violence. Rake, despite his growing injuries, moves with a brutal efficiency, using everything from his environment to his fists to take down opponents. He's practically a human battering ram, clearing a path for Ovi through sheer force of will. The visual detail is astonishing, as you see the grime on the walls, the desperate looks on the faces of the goons, and the relentless, exhausting pace of Rake's fight for survival. Seriously, watching this, you start to question your own fitness levels. I mean, my arms are tired just thinking about it. From the apartments, the owner takes us up onto the rooftops, where Rake and Ovi are once again defying gravity, leaping across gaps and scrambling over obstacles. The wind whipping past them, the sounds of distant city life, and the ever-present threat of gunfire underscore their precarious position. It's a heart-stopping display of parkour and sheer desperation. Then, just as you're catching your breath, they're back down to street level, right into the thick of another chaotic melee. The sounds of the city return with a vengeance, the blare of traffic, the shouts of civilians, and the relentless, metallic symphony of combat. Rake is fighting for every inch, his movements becoming more strained, but his resolve never wavering. He's taking hits, but he's dishing them out tenfold, a true force of nature against overwhelming odds. The ground feels uneven beneath your feet just watching it, the vibrations of the impacts resonating through the screen. It's a phenomenal sequence that truly immerses you in the character's desperate struggle, a cinematic masterclass in sustained tension. My personal favorite part is how Rake always seems to find a new way to incapacitate a bad guy without, just shooting them. Because variety, right? After what feels like an entire movie compressed into one continuous shot, Rake finally gets a moment to breathe and connect with Nick. She's got some less than stellar news. Amir Asif has essentially locked down Dhaka, turning it into a giant, deadly cage. So the original extraction plan, toast burnt to a crisp. Nick, however, is a woman of action and quickly pivots, concocting a new, even riskier plan that involves a much more intricate escape route. The calm, authoritative tone of Nick's voice on the comms is a stark contrast to the chaos Rake just endured, a brief anchor in a sea of madness. She's also sending in reinforcements because even Rake, as formidable as he is, can't fight an entire city by himself. It's a moment that reminds us that behind every one-man army, there's usually a brilliant tactician pulling the strings remotely. The static crackle on the phone line just adds to the sense of urgency, and you can practically hear Nick's brain cells firing as she reconfigures their strategy on the fly. Because having a plan B, C, and D is crucial when your primary plan involves not getting brutally murdered, Rake. With Ovi still clinging to him like a very valuable, albeit terrified backpack, finds a temporary haven in a surprisingly nice apartment. Turns out it belongs to Gasper, an old comrade-in-arms who's clearly living a more relaxed, retired mercenary lifestyle, complete with a fully stocked fridge. The sudden quiet of the apartment after the city's relentless noise is almost jarring. Gasper, played by the always fantastic David Harbour, offers them refuge, but there's an undercurrent of weariness and unspoken history between him and Rake. The clinking of glasses and the casual conversation about old times provide a stark contrast to the life or death situation they're in, making the relative safety feel almost surreal. It's a moment where you wonder if Rake ever had a life beyond bulletproof vests and headshots. Gaspar's presence introduces a different kind of tension, a moral ambiguity that hints at deeper complexities beneath the surface of this straightforward extraction mission. It's like a mini reunion of old war buddies, except one of them has a kidnapped kid and half an army on his tail as the night deepens. Fueled by a drink or two, Gasper gently prods Rake, trying to get him to open up. And in a rare moment of vulnerability, Rake reveals the devastating truth about his past, the tragic death of his young son to leukemia. The quiet, almost whispered admission hangs heavy in the air, a stark contrast to the explosions and gunfire that have dominated the movie. The clinking of ice in their glasses feels strangely loud in the sudden emotional silence. This revelation explains why Rake is so seemingly reckless, so willing to throw himself into impossible situations. He's not just a mercenary. He's a man haunted by grief, perhaps seeking an end or at least a way to atone by saving other children. His protective instincts towards Ovi now make perfect, heart-wrenching sense. It's a moment that adds significant depth to our action figure protagonist, showing us the fragile humanity beneath the hardened exterior. You can practically feel the weight of his grief, a silent scream that's been rattling inside him for years. This is where the movie reminds you that even the toughest guys have emotional baggage, often heavier than any tactical gear. Just as you thought maybe, just maybe, Rake could have a semi-normal conversation without someone trying to kill him. Gasper pulls the rug out from under everyone. Turns out he's also working for Amir Asif, and he's not just doing it for kicks. There's a hefty bounty on Ovi's head, and Gasper wants it. The abrupt shift in atmosphere, from somber introspection to immediate deadly threat, is jarring. The quiet clink of glasses is replaced by the metallic click of a gun being cocked. Rake, despite the element of surprise, reacts with lightning speed, leading to another brutal, close-quarters brawl. This fight is particularly painful because of their shared history. It's less about skill and more about raw, desperate survival. The sounds of breaking furniture, muffled grunts, and the sharp intake of breath as punches connect all paint a picture of a fight where every blow carries emotional weight. Rake, battered and bruised, eventually subdues Gasper and escapes with Ovi. It's another good punch of betrayal, leaving Rake even more isolated and distrustful. Seriously, can this guy ever get a break from people trying to double-cross him? It's almost comical at this point. After barely escaping Gaspar's betrayal, Rake, looking more like a walking bruise than a human being, contacts Nick once more. His voice is hoarse, his movements strained, but his determination remains unshaken. He confirms their new, audacious plan, a full-scale, coordinated assault to get Ovi across the main bridge, which is, naturally, swarming with the Mir Azov's forces. The crackle of the burner phone, the low tones of their strategic conversation, are the only sounds in the tense silence. Nick, ever the professional, assures him that her team is en route, setting the stage for the movie's grand finale. You can almost hear the gears grinding in their tactical minds, mapping out every bullet trajectory and every potential escape route. It's a testament to Rake's resolve that even after everything, he's still pushing forward, still focused on the mission. He's basically running on fumes and sheer stubbornness at this point, which is pretty much the definition of a true action hero. Rake and Ovi make their way towards the final gauntlet, the bridge. And just when you think it's Rake versus the world again, Sayu makes his triumphant return, looking like he just stepped out of an arms dealer's catalog, fully kitted out and ready for war. The heavy thud of his tactical boots on the pavement announces his presence. This time, there's no doubt about his loyalty. He's here to fight. Together, this unlikely trio starts their desperate push towards the bridge, which is, of course, a veritable fortress of bad guys. The streets immediately erupt into a symphony of gunfire, the sharp cracks of rifles, the louder bangs of shotguns, and the metallic pings of bullets ricocheting off every available surface. It's a chaotic, deafening start to the final act. Rake and Sayu move with a synchronized brutality, a dance of death honed by years of combat. You can almost feel the vibrations of the explosions and the sheer force of the assault. The stakes are higher than ever, and the tension is practically oozing from the screen. This is where everyone puts their money where their mouths are, and by money, I mean bullets and punches to the face, high above the chaos. Perched on a distant rooftop, Nick Khan and her elite sniper team set up their positions. They're the cavalry delivering precise, long-range justice. The distinct, crisp crack of their sniper rifles cuts through the general din of the battle, each shot finding its mark with chilling accuracy. They provide crucial cover, systematically thinning the ranks of Emir Azov's men, making Rake and Sayu's advance even remotely possible. You can almost hear the soft click of a scope adjusting, the subtle intake of breath before a perfect shot. It's a testament to coordinated teamwork, showing that even the baddest of badasses needs a little help from their friends, especially when those friends are miles away with high-powered rifles. The tension is palpable as you watch them meticulously eliminate threats, turning an impossible situation into merely a highly improbable one. Nick isn't just a mission planner. She's an active participant, guiding the chaotic ballet of bullets from afar. It's a beautiful, terrifying display of long-range precision, reminding everyone that this isn't just a street brawl. It's a strategic operation. The battle on the bridge quickly descends into absolute, unadulterated pandemonium. It's not just a shootout, it's a full-blown war zone. Explosions rock the structure, sending concrete and rebar flying. The continuous roar of gunfire is deafening, a relentless barrage that makes you wince. Rake and Sayu, a human-wrecking crew, push forward, their movements a blur of tactical precision and raw aggression. They're facing what feels like an entire army, but they cut through the waves of enemies with terrifying efficiency. The air is thick with smoke and the metallic smell of blood, and the ground vibrates with the impact of countless bullets and explosions. The bridge itself becomes a character, groaning under the assault, its structure scarred by the relentless combat. You can practically taste the grit and dust kicked up by the relentless barrage. This sequence is a masterclass in controlled chaos, with the camera expertly capturing the scale of the conflict while still keeping you focused on the brutal, personal struggle of Rake and Sayu. It's truly a spectacle of destruction and, frankly, a very expensive way to get someone across a river. As Rake and Sayu get closer to their extraction point, the enemy forces seem to multiply. They're practically swarming them, and our duo finds themselves in a desperate, last-ditch stand, fighting back-to-back, a solid wall of muscle and bullets shielding Ovi, the sounds of their grunts of effort, the sharp crack of their weapons, and the muffled thuds of their bodies connecting with their opponents, combine into a raw, visceral experience. They're both taking a serious beating. You can almost hear the crunch of bone and muscle with every blow, but their focus never wavers from Ovi. Each hit they absorb, each enemy they put down, is a step closer to getting the boy to safety. It's a testament to their unbreakable will and their commitment to the mission, even if it means sacrificing themselves. The desperation in their movements is palpable. Every bullet fired, every punch thrown, fueled by a primal need to protect. This is where the movie reminds you that sometimes sheer stubbornness can be the most effective weapon against impossible odds. In a truly heartbreaking moment, Sayu sees Ovi safely making his way across the bridge, finally out of immediate danger. A look of relief, perhaps even peace, crosses his face. But before he can truly savor the victory, a sniper's shot rings out, a single, sharp crack that echoes ominously, and Sayu collapses, instantly killed. The sound of his body hitting the ground is disturbingly final amidst the lingering battle noise. It's a gut-wrenching sacrifice, a testament to his loyalty and his ultimate redemption. His death leaves Rake entirely alone, with only moments left to get Ovi to the waiting helicopter. The silence of Sayu's passing, quickly swallowed by the chaos, leaves a void that Rake must now fill with even more ferocity. It's a moment that reminds us that in this brutal world, even the good guys don't always get a happy ending, especially when they're trying to make amends for past mistakes. This is the kind of hero's death that sticks with you, a quiet tragedy amidst the deafening roar of war. With Sayu gone, Rake is truly the last man standing, a bruised and bloodied guardian. He's been shot multiple times, his movements are sluggish, but his resolve is a steel trap. He pushes Ovi towards the waiting helicopter, knowing full well he's not going to make it. The rapid bursts of machine gun fire and the sickening thud of bullets hitting Rake's body are relentless. He takes hit after hit, a human shield absorbing the barrage, buying Ovi precious seconds. In a final act of utter desperation, Rake hurls Ovi towards the helicopter with a primal yell, a raw surge of paternal instinct overriding his own failing body. Just as Ovi is pulled to safety, Rake takes a fatal shot to the neck, staggering backward. The metallic clang of his weapon hitting the ground, the fading sounds of the battle, and the gurgling sound in his throat paint a picture of utter defeat, yet ultimate victory. He looks at Ovi one last time, a ghost of a smile, before he topples backward, plunging into the river below. It's a visceral, heartbreaking moment of sacrifice, proving that even a man who sought death found purpose in giving his life for another. This is the ultimate mic drop for a mercenary. Except the Mick is his entire body and it's dropping into a river dot in the immediate aftermath. Nick Khan and her team quickly secure Ovi, pulling him into the waiting helicopter. The roar of the helicopter blades fills the air, drowning out the lingering sounds of battle. Nick casts a solemn glance down at the river where Rake fell, a silent tribute to her friend and colleague. There's no time for grieving. Not yet. The mission is completed, but the cost is profound. Later, in a scene that reminds us that not all loose ends are left untied, Nick tracks down Amir Asif, the man responsible for this whole bloody mess. The quiet, almost clinical execution of Asif, a single shot silencing his reign of terror, provides a grim form of justice. It's a cold, swift act of retribution, ensuring that Rake's sacrifice wasn't in vain, and that Ovi, at least, is truly safe from this particular villain. The chilling silence after the shot is more impactful than any grand explosion, a stark reminder that some acts of vengeance are best served with quiet precision. Sometimes the bad guys just get what's coming to them, courtesy of a very capable woman. 8 months later, we find Ovi back home, back at school, attempting to pick up the pieces of his life. He's swimming in a pool, a symbol of cleansing and perhaps a new beginning. The gentle splashing of the water, the sounds of children playing, create a peaceful, almost idyllic scene, a stark contrast to the violence he endured. He seems to be recovering, but the trauma of his ordeal and the memory of the man who saved him clearly lingers. As he surfaces from the water, he looks up to see a figure watching him from the edge of the pool. The figure is blurry, ambiguous, but it unmistakably resembles Tyler Rake. Is it Rake, miraculously alive? Is it a hallucination, a manifestation of Ovi's lingering guilt or gratitude? Or is it simply a symbol of the lasting impact Rake had on his life? The film leaves Rake's fate tantalizingly open, a final, thoughtful question mark that lingers long after the credits roll. It's a classic move, ensuring we'll be debating this one around the water cooler, or, in the comment section. And that, my friends, is the whirlwind, bone-shattering journey of Extraction. This film isn't just about explosions and headshots. It's a visceral exploration of grief, sacrifice, and the unexpected bonds forged in the crucible of extreme danger. Rake's redemption, Ovi's survival, and the lingering ambiguity of that final shot, it all coalesces into a powerful, action-packed narrative that stays with you. It reminds us that even in the darkest corners of the world, with the highest stakes, there are still heroes, however flawed, willing to put everything on the line. It's a truly intense ride that manages to deliver both thrilling action and unexpected emotional depth. So, what did you think of Rake's fate? Let me know your